Hey Zariah, what are the best practices for CPD?
I'd be happy to help. Let me share out my screen.
Best practices on a use case basis. Capture Process Designer allows users to scan or sweep documents into the same scan queue, but also have the ability to follow different routes based on if they were imported via dip or cold, drip, whichever process may be implemented within your environment. To make ad hoc decisions on documents and send them for either invoice processing or invoice escalation. Invoices and purchase orders should be separated into different documents based on the document type. Invoices and purchase orders indexed automatically before users verify them. Invoices should be sent to a workflow for payment processing after being indexed and verified. And lastly, purchase orders and invoices that need to be sent to different queues for different users to verify. We'll now discuss best practices with Capture Process Designer for system administration and maintenance tasks. It's considered a best practice to regularly commit batches of documents imported via document imaging. The interval between commits should be set to something meaningful, such as once per day, once per week, once per month, whichever falls in line with your business needs. Another best practice is to monitor the index in progress and incomplete commit batch status queues to ensure your document imaging solution is running smoothly and to identify any potential bottlenecks before they become a problem. It's considered a best practice to review scanned documents and assign keyword values on a regular basis to ensure that all documents imported via document imaging are meeting scanning and indexing quality standards. How often documents and keyword values are reviewed depends on the volume of documents being scanned and indexed in the resources within your organization. Another best practice is to regularly purge batches of unacceptable documents to avoid bad or even duplicates of documents to remain in your OnBase solution. Lastly, it's considered a best practice to always select the Show Twain interface when scanning option when performing Twain scanning in the Unity client to ensure that the proper scanning settings are being used. Some of the best practices with process options and user settings. It's important to note that the Enable Capture Process Designer batch processing option only applies to the Unity client. With this option selected, full user interaction on batches in the scan queue will only be available in the Unity client. Opting for this setting to activate the Capture Process Designer applies to the OnBase Studio as well. Users that hold the document imaging administrative processing privilege can subsequently manage status steps, adjust their order, customize batch routing, and make other edits to the capture processes executed in the Unity client. Capture Process Designer best practices within workflow. It's important to note that the Initiate Workflow option is not available when Capture Process Designer. Custom capture processes are enabled for the scan queue when this setting is applied. If a scanned document is associated with a workflow, the user has the option to choose to have them enter the workflow during commit or during indexing. Choosing to initiate workflow during indexing reduces the time needed for processing large batches. while on the other hand, selecting workflow initiation during commit ensures that all batches are appended and keyword modifications are completed before system tasks commence within workflow. Capture Process Designer best practices when it comes to custom scan queues. It's first important to note that custom logic to transition documents and break them into document sets is a functionality supported within Capture Process Designer, as well as adding documents to workflow anywhere besides after index or commit. Configuring ad hoc actions for end users to transition documents during processing. The flexibility to send a batch or document set to anywhere in the capture process at will. Build in exception routing logic to a scan queue without needing to use scan queue sorting. When you would like to control user security for individual processing steps. And lastly, when you would like to have more than one of the same actions in a process. More than one step of the same action with different properties is a great example of this. Frequently asked questions when it comes to Capture Process Designer. Can a user have one scan queue for several document types, even if one document type does not need to go through an index process? To answer this, yes, with the traditional scan queue, this is possible. Users have the ability to assign multiple document types to a single scan queue and have automated logic based on keywords or other decision points within the queue, which can assign the document type to a document or to an entire batch based on this criteria. Secondly, does a scan queue need to have an indexing step? As this isn't a necessary step, if a user is using a process such as OCR, users can have the OCR automatically assign the keywords based on what is read. If an indexing step is not used, depending on the document that's brought in, it may only need a document date and the document type, for example. If there are no keywords required, an induction step is not needed. Some great Capture Process Designer resources that I recommend reviewing are the Document Imaging, Studio, System Administration, and Unity Client MRGs.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. If you have a question that you would like answered on an upcoming question corner, please leave a comment below.